Hello, everybody, and welcome to what will hopefully be another exciting race in the Hollow Knight All Skills 2021 tournament. I am Spicy, and I'm joined here by Virgil. We'll be your comms today. This race will be between WaterWithFlavor and Dyenamite. Water has a PB of 55.42, I believe, and Dyna's PB is a 59.32. So there's a little bit of discrepancy between the runners, but Water notably says that their average splits are around a 59.30, so it should hopefully be a pretty close race.
Yep, and just before we start, a few housekeeping things. As usual, this run will be in patch 1221, a previous patch, because it allows the runners to pull off some minor time saves, such as inventory drops and other things that we will point out as we move along. And yeah, as Spicy has mentioned before, definitely a exciting stream, and we're just waiting on the two runners to get ready. As you can see, they're just doing some practice runs, which are fine and dandy. And as I see Herm in the chat, hi Herm, and this is a great time to be reminding everyone that chat is very cute and the runners are very cute as well. We are really excited to see their performance today and hope everyone is having a lovely day, and whether how your day has been, we hope that this run will make your day even better.
We are just getting the runners ready. We will count them down momentarily. Dyna's just getting set up to start. I will begin to count them down now. Wait, hold on.
Wait, did Dino start?
Dyna started on accident. I'll start.
No.
Looks like Dynamite had done it again.
Oh, we're in the cutscene. Wait,
Alright. I'm told yes, they are ready now. Alright, the runners have been given the go-ahead, and they will be off in a moment.
Yep, just a bit of stream delay, but Dai is in the spirit of speedrunning. Like, he ain't waiting for nobody, which is good. We want the speedrunners to go zoom today. That is very excited to see that the spirit is there.
Of course, got to get that start time save.
Yeah.
Save the frames.
Yeah, and as we see that as both runners start, there is the first inventory drop that we were talking about. It's only available on these previous patches because Team Cherry decided, no, that's still a glitch. We're not allowing it in the later patches, and it allows the runners to fall down faster. It uncaps their fall speed, and at the end, they don't have that like stuck animation of getting up from the floor.
Yeah, and for that reason, Kane's pass is about, I think, 6 seconds faster optimally on 1221 than it will be in the current patch runs. So it's not a huge time save, but it is a time save nonetheless, and it is one that will save time continually throughout the run for these runners and other places. As we approach the door, we'll do our first knock-knock joke of the day. Knock-knock, Virgil.
Who's there?
Nail.
Nail who?
I'll tell you later.
Oh my god, spicy. Yes, great one. And as always, these jokes are courtesy of Slorent. We appreciate him very much for writing all these knock-knock jokes.
Yeah, shout outs to Solarian.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the runners will be hopping through Dirtmouth, and it looks like water will be about a second ahead, dropping into Forgotten Crossroads.
Yeah, and something else that I guess we could mention here is that when you see runners enter room transition, their timer actually pauses because we are using a load list timer to make sure that computers, the quality of each runner's computers don't really factor into their times. Coming up, this is the first small arena that the runners will get to face with about 3 aspects in it. There's a trick that the runners can execute here called double spikes, as we just see Water do successfully, and looks like Dye got one of them, which is not bad either. Yeah, basically the spike falls from the ceiling and the runners can use their nail to redirect it into the aspects.
Yeah, meanwhile, the runners will be making their way through a couple of Gome rooms. Nothing too eventful in these ones. We see Dyna take a hit of damage, but that shouldn't matter for him because he'll get a chance to heal at Frostnite pretty quickly. Both runners will be approaching Statue Pogo here, which is just a little small optimization where we pogo off the statue water is about to. He actually opts to take a safer strat where he pogos off the Tick-Tick and Vengefly instead. Won't lose him much time. Dyna seems to take a safe strat as well.
Yep, and as Spicy has mentioned before, we're coming up on our first boss, the False Knight, who is really cute underneath, has a very soft heart, but nonetheless, we will not be hurting the False Knight as much because we'll just be giving him, a couple of high fives, knocking him down, and just saying bye because we are not interested in his city crest, and nor are we interested in the geo chest that he has. Looks like Water's going for a safety heal there.
Yeah. And both runners will get pretty solid False Knight RNG. There's a little bit of RNG in this fight depending on where he decides to jump, but it saves or loses like 3 seconds at most, and both of them got very comparable patterns. Looked like Dino might have lost like a second or so in the False Knight fight to Water.
Well, 2 seconds apart, which isn't bad at all. But coming up next, there is a pretty RNG heavy section. Due to Com's curse, I'm going to have to kindly wish that both of these runners do not get one spit off of the boulder that they will be fighting at the end of this area after they get Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, not due to Com's curse. I'm going to wish that none of them get one spits either. I want to see a record here. I know the runners want to see a record as well. We joke about that the Balder spit record is something that's more coveted than an actual tourney victory.
Very well, okay. Yep. And yeah, Rixie in the chat, yes, we at the All Skills tournament especially are very good civilians, and we do not steal from the False Knights because Geo isn't that important in the routing, or it isn't that tight because the runners aren't required to purchase the lantern for 1800 Geo in this run. Let's see, Water coming up with the boulder. That is a first spit. Wow, nice.
First spit for both of them. Commentator's curse paying off.
Nice.
It's always nice to see comparable Balder RNG because Balders can desync races quite a bit early on if one of the runners gets really bad RNG.
Yeah, definitely. And coming up next, we will be saying hi to our second boulder in this run, but don't worry, this time we don't have to worry about RNGs. The runners just have to collect a bit of soul, as Water is currently doing when he is moving through this room. And then on this patch, there is a lovely glitch that we can do where we put the boulder on the left side of the screen and shoot one fireball, causing the fireball to hit 4 times and killing him in 1 hit.
Looks like Water actually misses the fireball thing. Sometimes it'll only hit 3 times if you do it at a weird height, I think is what causes it. Meanwhile, Dyna uses 2 fireballs, but manages to get the first fireball skip. That'll just about sync up the runners.
Nice sync. You love to see it. Yeah, and Rixie in the chat, thank you for keeping track of the time once again. Seems like the Vengeful Spirit split. The 2 runners were about 5 seconds apart, but they pretty much made up the entire time and are synced now.
Yeah, Water just took an unfortunate dunk in the acid, which will put Dyna ahead by a couple of seconds, but will hopefully not have too big of an impact on the race.
And as we see Dyne do here, ooh, missed the first fireball skip. That's okay because, looks like Water made that first try. That's going to give him a little bit of a lead, while the Squid there is not playing nice with Dye.
Guy manages to get the Squid Pogo after a little bit of trouble, and will now continue through Green Path. At this point, it looks like Water is probably about 10 seconds ahead of Dye, but just missed the 3rd fireball skip, so we'll give Dye an opportunity to come back.
It looks like Water went for a safety hill there. They're about 4 seconds apart. So I'd say that's pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely a close race through Green Path so far.
Yep. Next up on Water's screen and on Dye's screen, we have another little like Moss Knight arena where 3 fireballs just really effectively and quickly takes care of him. And looks like Water didn't get the double there, and neither did Dye, so they're still on the same pace. Fingers crossed this is going to be one of the streams that it's going to be like tight till the end, and we're going to have to still say like, oh, they're on the same pace when we're like at the Abyss climb or something.
Those are always the best races, when they're really tight.
Yep.
Let's see what kind of Moss Knight RNG these runners get. Water will get the good one with the close Watcher Knight, not Watcher Knight. But Dyna will get the bad RNG, so that will give Water a couple of seconds.
Yep.
Oh no.
While Dye is still having a bit of trouble with the Moss Knight. Okay, he got it. Water is heading into the Hornet fight, which there's just gonna be a lot of fireballs and nail slashes in here, and optimally we hope that Hornet doesn't jump too far away from our nail so we can corner her on one side, and also she doesn't give us the Adale needle attack because that does reset her stagger. Oh no, both runners are on 1 HP. Please no.
Yeah, but Water manages to clean up Hornet with a rather quick fight despite the damage. Hopefully Dyna can do the same. And Dyna unfortunately dies there. That's going to be a really rough place to take a death for him. That'll set him probably about 3 to 4 minutes behind Water going forward in this race. Green Path, unfortunately, is probably the biggest time loss for a death in the all skills run. So it's going to be tough for Dyna to come back here. But definitely still lots of time in this race. You never know what could happen. So hopefully he manages to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as Dye is going to be trying to retrace his step as fast as possible. Water is grabbing our lovely fancy dash and heading down into the fungal waste to say hi to the mantis ladies and grab a lovely claw. Just be like, hey, may I have a helping hand? I'm sorry. Sorry, chat. I love you guys, I promise. Yeah, also for Dye, I have not seen a Deathly Green Path for a while. Hopefully, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit harder to execute a Fireball skip if he only has 2 souls, which means that there is no, like, the third one backup in case.
Yeah, it'll definitely make Gathering Soul for the Fade skip a little awkward. Meanwhile, Water is going to approach Explosion Pogo as Guy gets past the second Fireball skip using the Squid again.
And I guess fun fact, the Squid, as Water is executing the Explosion Pogo, he goes for, ooh, misses the first try, that's okay. But yeah, the Squid has a name. His name is Eric. I think it's kind of cute. I don't know, I just wanted to mention that here.
Yeah, the Hollow Knight community has a knack for naming just about any reasonable enemy that you see a lot. We will see later Jennifer as a jumping husk. And I know there's a few other that I don't know very well as well.
Yeah. Ooh, looks like Water missed the first Mantis Pogo skip, which means he's gonna have to go around the Mantis village, and that's a bit of a time lost, while Dai is retracing his step back to the Moss Knight.
Yeah, it looks like Water will make it to call, though, even though scarily at 1 health.
It's a Fury run today, guys. Get ready, strap in, you know, always wear your seatbelts. We're going for Fury strats today. Yep, now that Water has got the Mantis Claw, he will be safe quitting back to the bench. And next up, on our journey through Hollow Nest All Skills Edition, we will be going to Salubra and getting ourselves the one and only Shaman Stone.
Yeah, and as Water does that, Dino will have finally made it back to Hornet, and will pick up his Shade and give the fight a second go. This time, hopefully, it will be much more successful going in with 4.
Yep, and looks like he has 4 health this time, so Dai's got this. We have faith in him. And if Chad are interested in a lovely measurement system that we have, it is that they're currently about 1 fungal apart.
Dai makes pretty quick work of Hornet and will pick up his dash and make his way over to the fungal waste for calling out. Meanwhile, Water is about to start the Grezmom fight. It's not much of a fight. It'll end in just a couple of seconds with a few well-timed fireballs and nail cancels.
Yep. Looks like Rixian in the chat is saying that there is about a 3.5 minute difference between the 2 runners, which, yeah, is probably going to be only made up by a death from Water at this point, or let's hope not. We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like at this point it's Water's race to lose. Dino will kind of be relying on Water to make a mistake if he wants to come back.
Yep. And next up, we're going to... speaking of death, I guess. Oh my gosh, Water, how could you do this to us? You know, just... Wow, chat, look at this. When we say death, I wasn't expecting Water to die this quickly. Man.
Gosh, speedrunners suck at husks. Hardest enemy in the game.
I know. But yeah, all jokes aside, there we see Water execute a flawless shaped skip, where he just pogos the shade, and we get a lovely splish splash shower time in the blue lake. Lots of movement on both screens. This is kind of satisfying to watch.
Yeah. Dyna will be approaching the explosion pogo here, so hopefully he can get that first try, along with Mantis pogo, which will bring him a little bit closer to water.
And water has just got to the elevator, which brings us to the right side of the city. Yes, in the All Skills tournament, unlike normal routes, or unlike normal playthroughs, we go to the right side of the city first. And because coming up really soon, the runners will get their exclusive chance to be scammed by a Nail Master. We're gonna have to collect a few geos on our way to those destinations. Looks like on Dice's screen, he's trying to set up the Mantis pogo, and
Managed to get a nice damage tank to get through there. After a little bit of trouble. And Dice should pick up some time on fungal waste from water there, since water did miss Mantis pogo and had to take a second try at E-pogo, which should bring the runners a bit closer together, but water still definitely has the lead here.
Yeah, definitely. And for water, he's on that mission to collect even more geo to be able to, because we need to afford about, wait, was it 800 or 700? My brain is having a moment.
It's 800.
Yeah, okay, it's an 800 geo nail art, which means we're saying hi to this gorgeous husk, robbing him of his entire life savings, and then safe quitting out onto the bench that we just took in order to get the nail art for 800 geo.
Yeah, and you'll notice that water is still a little bit short on geo. That is because we will get the last 90 or so from a couple rows of hoppers and Kingdom's Edge coming up. These hoppers can give you a little bit of trouble if you kind of mess up your damage rotation, because they are surrounded by primal aspids, which can really mess you up if you spend too long there.
Spicy, what is, in your opinion, the hardest enemy in the game?
Hardest enemy in the game is definitely those spiders in Deepness that like shoot the little orange stuff. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, those ones. Yeah.
They're snipers. They hit you every time.
That is true.
Not too much of a problem in all skills, but in any percent, they're a real pain.
Yep. Looks like Dai has just got a pretty good cleanup on Grud's bomb and is getting his own Shaman Stone. Looks like Water is having another dance with the Great Hoppers, which is always fun.
Yeah, it looks like you took a little bit of damage from the aspids there. Notably, primal aspids are most people's answer to the worst enemy in the game.
I feel like mine is like the Loodles. They're just too erratic. I can't understand where they're going. And oh my god, die with the second death. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that one. But
really unfortunate. Really unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Water didn't bow, and Dai got a fireball from his shade on the first attempt, which isn't really what you like to see, because fireball does waste a little bit of time as the shade tries to recover and get back into position, but he adjusted pretty well.
Yeah, so Water here will be making his way to one of the more dangerous areas of the run, Soul Sanctum. The Soul Twisters in here can be very mean, and it's really easy to take a lot of damage that isn't very much your fault. So this is definitely one of the more common death points, so it'll definitely be an area to watch out for as Water makes his way through it.
Yep, and as Rixian is pointing out in the chat, the runners are currently about 3 minutes and 34 seconds apart. So Dine actually gained a 7-second time lost in there, unfortunately. And as we see Water navigate through this dark room, this dark room is actually created not because we don't have lantern or anything, but because the runners are using a lever skip to go into a room that hasn't been loaded yet. But in the future part of the stream, we'll be seeing like some really formidable dark rooms.
Yeah. And it looked like on Dye's screen that his any percent muscle memory took over because he got some geo from the journal husk that we normally skip in all skills here. That'll help him further on getting past the hoppers. But we'll lose him some time on Gorgeous Husk here.
Yep. And as Water is heading officially into Soul Sanctum with that beautiful music, we'll be using the dash slash to get ourselves another nice lever skip to be able to get into and access Shade Soul a lot faster, because this allows us to skip saving Sly, going to Crystal Peaks, getting that key, talking to Sly, buying the key, and then fighting a boss. A long list of things that we get to just cross out of our list and be like, nah, we're speedrunners. We gotta go fast.
Yeah, this single Shade Soul lever skip basically accounts for the large majority of the rerouting for all skills between 1.2.2.1 and current patch, because it just allows us to get everything on one trip to city rather than two.
And as Dye is having a really good geo situation right now, because he's really close to that 800 gold mark. And Water, as we see him just demonstrate how powerful the Shade Soul can be when fighting these bosses here and getting rid of that Soul Warrior in a snap, just like that. Water is currently the incarnation of Thanos. He's like, nope, goodbye. You shall not exist anymore. Reality can be whatever I want it to be.
Yeah, that was a very clean Soul Warrior fight from Water. Just about textbook. Water's been having a really great Sanctum so far. Hopefully his Soul Master fight will keep up with that.
Yep. And as we see Water kind of moving past those soul jars really quick there, don't worry, that's also intentional, because we're going to be executing something here where Water will be firing a Shade Soul off screen, which gets him the soul jars and allows him to get a little bit more soul at the start of this fight.
A relatively quick Soul Master fight from Water. Got into a little bit of trouble with dives, but managed to make fairly quick work of them. Meanwhile, Dyna will be putting out from Dash Splash and will be making his own way to Sanctum.
Soul Master can be really mean sometimes, because he decides to teleport off screen, grab a coffee, and then like 5 seconds later remembers like, oh yeah, I have a fight to like done right now. But that was a good phase too. And Rixian in the chat once again. Thank you, Rixian, by the way. Saying that the two runners' time difference currently is 3 minutes and 46 seconds, so that is another 12 seconds added to the time gap. At this point, I think we'll be expecting Water to like go for more safe strats, as you know he's trying to just keep up the lead.
Yeah, you never know though. I'm not sure exactly what kind of pace Water's on, but he's been playing pretty well, so it's possible if he's on PB pace, he will just go for everything like normal, looking for that sweet turny PB.
That is true. We do also like love it when speedrunners actually get PBs on their turn. It's very exciting stuff. And coming up next, on water screen as one is exiting Soul Sanctum and the other one's entering it. We'll be seeing him take a bench at Water Spires, and this is which marks the start of a pretty intense part of the fight. And due to commentator curse, I'm going to hope that Water gets a really bad C peaks run and totally have to redo it.
Yeah, you'll love to see deaths and C peaks. I hope for it every run.
Yeah.
And we'll see Water hit his 300 geo mark with that row of husks, which is the last real geo benchmark in the run. We need that 300 geo to buy Kane Station, and after that, we will really not have any geo problems because of the Waterman's chest.
Yep. And I love benchmark, whether intentional or not. That could be a good joke implementing from now on.
Yeah, that was very much not intentional, but it was good catch, good catch.
And looks like, according to Rixian, the Shade Soul split between two runners are pretty much still at about 3 minutes and 48 seconds. So we'll see.
Yeah. And now Water has taken a good bit of damage on his way over to peaks here. I'd expect to see him heal after calling the stag here, because going into peaks with 3 masks is very scary.
Yeah. Good safety hills. I respect it.
Since he had to wait for the stag anyway, Water won't even really lose any time to those heals, thankfully.
Yep. Yeah, ideally, the runners will want to take less than 3 hits of damage, or less than or equal to 3 hits of damage at C peaks area, because at the end, we're gonna have to sacrifice one of our masks to get a early control part, which wouldn't really work if they're on 1 HP. I remember, like, kind of off topic, but I remember seeing Taco like on 1 HP one time and going for the early control and dying. That pained me so much.
Yeah, it's always a horrible feeling to muscle memory into the early control and realize you're at 1 mask.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dyna has a really clean Soulmaster fight. I'd expect to see him pick up a little bit of time on Water here. So we'll see as that's picked up.
Yeah. And on Water's part, on Water's part, Crystal Peaks is just a huge area with a lot of movement-based platforming challenges. And looks like Water will be going for our legendary Pog X, and he's got it. Wonderful. We love to see that.
Love to see it. Shoutouts to Water for the Pog app.
Yeah. And another thing that we'll be hoping to see here executing by both runners will be Underplat, the C Peaks Underplat, which hopefully there are 2 in this run, and we hope to see both, but no pressure on the runners if they're listening to the stream. We believe in you.
Water taking a little bit of damage in peaks here. He should be okay for the most part if he doesn't take any more. But Fury Mask is about the minimum you want to be at any point in Crystal Peaks.
Yep, looks like Water went for another safety heal there, which, fair, yeah. And Rixian in the chat again, being our lovely timekeeper. Looks like actually Dyna wasn't able to make up any time on the Desolate dive, which is kind of unfortunate. They're still about 3 minutes and 50 seconds apart.
Let's see water go for the damage cycle on the Crystal Peaks lasers. There's also a damageless variant that some runners use in all skills because of how important health is in this split. But because Water took that heal, he seemed to be confident going with the damage route, which is a bit more consistent and slightly faster.
Yep, and an underplat from Water, flawless execution.
Yeah, so as every runner knows, you have to do the Crystal Peaks underplat, otherwise the run is in fact invalid.
Yep. And as Water just moved swiftly through the Crusher's room, let's hope he... Okay, he did save the grub there, that is perfect. And coming up next, there will be a pretty long dark room, which there are consistent strats for, and then there are risky ones, because this dark room does have a Crystal Hunter in it, which can mess you up if those things catch a wind of you. And another thing is, like, Crystal Hunters can be some people's worst enemies as well.
Yeah, and it looks like Water will go for the safe strats here with C-Dash, which is very understandable. They don't lose that much time to the dash-only strats, especially if you're not 100% consistent with dash-only.
Yep. And heading into Crystallized Mounds, the area which, as we mentioned before, will have a lovely early control segment. I believe in Water. Come on, let's do this. So, okay, as for the early control strat we mentioned about there, you see Water hit that crystal for a few times, and then as their final hit, goes for a dash slash, which gives him a super slide and slides him right into the crystal shards below, taking one massive damage, but also giving him a earlier control and exiting the room.
Yeah, and with that, Water has safely made it all the way through the Crystal Peaks gauntlet. There's nowhere else for him to take damage, which is very good for him, but unfortunate for our chances of having a close race. Crystal Peaks is notably the second worst place to die in the run, and a death there for Water would have brought the run very close between the two runners. At this point, there's not looking like too much chance that Dyna catches up.
Yeah, but Water did mention that his early and mid game is pretty good, so there are still a few areas with potentially disastrous deaths, such as either the Abyss or falling off at Beast End, or let's hope that doesn't happen though.
Yeah, falling off at Beast End is notably really awful, though uncommon, because you have to either dark room your way back up, or... Oh, we just see Water miss the Dream Plat.
But going for the underplat, which I definitely do appreciate.
Yeah, definitely respect for the underplat attempt.
So far, that is one successful underplat for Water and one try. And as we see Dye heading to get Crystal Hearts, we're hoping to see some underplats from him as well.
Yeah, and it looks like Dyna will go for the damageless cycle, and gets off cycle, and then seems to be able to pull it back.
Oh wow, nice. Ooh, unfortunate Dyna did not go for the underplat. So that is one for... Yeah. That's one for Water on the board, and that's 0 for Dyna so far. Hopefully he'll make it up. Next up for Water, as he just safe quit back to the Watcher Spire bench, is our first Dreamer. And to get to Lorien, we do need to get rid of the Watcher Knights. There will be 5 of them, and on all skills, the fight is slightly easier than any percent another, because we already have Descending Dark at this point, and about 2.5 D-Darks to just successfully take out all the Watcher Knights.
Yeah, and the strategies for what exactly you do in this Watcher Knights is typically just to D-Dark. If you get certain roll patterns, it will be quicker for runners to fireball as they roll away. So we might see some strats to that extent. But it really is just kind of a spam D-Dark kind of fight.
It do be like that sometimes. And it looks like Dyen is making his way through the Dark Room as well, so very hype sections on both runners' parts. And I believe Water got like a okay RNG there.
Yeah, his second set of Watcher Knights was bouncing a lot, which is what you don't want to see. But he handled them okay. It's definitely not going to be a gold for him, but it won't be that.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we will see Dinah attempting the early control at Sea Peaks to get D-Dark.
Yep. Nice. And looks like Rixian is saying that the runners are still getting further and further apart. At this point, I think it's because like Water does have a little bit of a more smooth movements, which very good for him and a little bit unfortunate for Dinah. I see. I was wondering. Quick question: for all 3 of the Dreamers, which one is your favorite?
Do you mean like boss fights or just like as a character?
You can take either way. It doesn't matter.
Well, my favorite boss fight is definitely the Watcher Knights before Lorien. They're just a fun fight, especially in any percent, even though they are extremely frustrating. As far as character goes, gotta love Hera the Beast because she's Hornet's mom, and Hornet is best bug.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. I respect that. I don't know. I kind of like Monomon just because there is like a Canterbury Tale reference in the archives. Which I respect. And on Water screen, here comes another like big hype area for all skills run. The first part is the spike tunnels, which he got first try. That is very good indeed. And then there will be 2 more acid skips for Water to execute. Looks like he got the second one first try as well. Wow. And there's the third one.
Yeah, that was a really clean Isma's tier split from Water, minus that little acid dunk at the end. I'm sure Water's kicking himself over that one.
Yeah.
Probably cost him the gold there. And it looks like Water managed to, whether intentionally or not, get the Isma's tier. Oh, no, never mind. It looked like he got the green particle glitch for a moment, which is just a nice little thing that happens if you get the early control just as you pick up Isma's tier.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he was just frames off.
Yep.
Well, he will be approaching the broken bridge, known by some as the Rava room, where he will get bad RNG on the Ravas and be knocked out of his C-dash.
Yeah, the Ravas can be rude sometimes. Sometimes if you get really bad RNG, all 3 of them could be in your way, and that's just no fun. And on Dyna's screen, looks like he is attempting the Watcher Knights as well. Pretty good RNG on the first two. We'll see how it goes.
And a relatively safe and clean Watcher Knights from Dyna. Making it out with 2 masks there is pretty standard, as to do them as fast as possible, it's very common to just damage tank through the Knight's attacks, because the fight is so fast.
Yep, and for Water, there will be a Maulerk section that he'll have to head through currently, and despite some might be little misconceptions, most of this Maulerk rooms is not RNG dependent. Yeah, there is a damage tank strategy that the runners can go for at the previous one, but looks like Water routed for the D-Dark safe strat, and ooh, okay.
Oh no.
Come on, Water. Yes, get the heal in. Very nice. Looks like Water is going for definitely safety and getting 3 masks to go up. That's good. And on Dyne's screen, looks like he just got the first streamer as well. That's going to be a little bit of a time loss for Water there. Oh gosh.
Yeah, Water has taken a lot of damage in this Maulerk room. They've been especially unfriendly to him.
Yep. And Water gets...
Yeah, with the pretty clean base and skip from Water, he will go into Broken Vessel with no soul and 3 masks, which is not a very safe situation to be in. Hopefully we will see a good fight out of him.
Yeah, and Water didn't get the shortcuts either, so it means that if he unfortunately dies here, then his time and Dyna's time might come close.
Yeah, it's interesting that we didn't see any safety strats out of Water here, given his lead. Maybe he's on really good pace and just didn't want to lose any more time to the Maulerks. I'm not sure.
And he did get a pretty good fight on Broken Vessel despite having no soul going to the fight, which is pretty good. And that gets him the lovely wings that belongs to Monarchs. Which, shower thought, by the way. If the wings are called Monarch wings, doesn't that mean we are already the king? Why do we need the king's brand if we already have Monarch's wings? If the wings already signify that we are a monarch? Or the other way around, if we are not a king yet because we haven't gotten the king's brand, why does the monarch wings accept us? Okay. Just some shower thoughts for anyone. Mossbag, contact me. My Discord is probably in chat somewhere. You got this. And looking back, a little bit of rewind as Water is exiting basin area. Dye got a pretty good spike tunnel on the first try and then had a little bit of trouble on the second acid dunk, but got the third one first try as well. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have an appearance from Water in chat saying that benches are an illusion. Likely saying that he will not be benching at Hornet 2 here either.
Nice.
No safety for Water.
I mean, okay, let's hope it's not poison water then, because we still do want safety. Dye being on 1 HP, but should be all good as he is coming up on the next bench in the basin really soon. And yeah, as Water promised, he will probably be skipping the bench and heading straight to Hornet. Ooh, it missed the C dash. I feel that. I feel that when you just hold the C dash button a little bit less than how long you're supposed to hold it, and the C dash doesn't execute.
Yeah, obviously runners are trying to let go of their C dash as soon as the game will let them, and sometimes that happens where they do it just a moment early. So Water will be beginning the fight with Hornet 2 here, notably the hardest fight in all skills. Hornet 2 is a very reactive boss. There's not really a set pattern that you do against her. You just kind of see what she does and do your best to dodge while maintaining as many nail swings as possible.
And we're definitely hoping for a good thing from Hornet here, which is let's hope that she doesn't give the runners too many blocks and parries, because she can parry Shade Soul with those parries, and it's honestly fascinating how she's able to do that. While on Dyna's part, the Molochs were slightly more friendly to him as he made it out with 2 HP and some soul. It looks like he's choosing to just fight the Broken Vessel on 2 soul.
Yeah, he likely knows that he's behind and is taking some riskier strats because of that, in a hope that maybe he can catch up.
Yep, and Water was able to beat Hornet 2 as well, so the confidence paid off, and that's great to see.
Yeah, now we will likely see Water attempt a form of early control by releasing a nail art here. He will have to wait until the knight moves up just a little bit after Hornet lets go of it to release that. Otherwise, he will become invisible and perform a major glitch. We see him properly wait and not invalidate his run, thankfully.
Yep. Although glitches like that are really funny to see on like a casual playthrough where your knight just turns completely invincible, this is a non-major glitch or an MG run, so unfortunately can't have that. And something I guess I learned recently was that because we have that early control, you cannot see Water's UID until he sits at a bench or safe quits, because things just do be like that sometimes. Next up, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, you can go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
I was gonna say, Water will be making his way over to Cyclone Slash, which is a bit stranded out in the Howling Cliffs, but given the name of the category, we do have to go get it. Mato there will give it to him for free, thankfully, unlike his brother Oro. So it's only a detour and not a geo loss, thankfully.
Yep. And yeah, Cyclone Slash is not too good of an ability that, like, we won't see the runners use it a lot in this category, because in order to get a good amount of damage from it, you do need to land every single hit of the Cyclone on a boss or an enemy, which is really hard. The only places and instance where we will see the Cyclone Slash is most likely when, in this version or just in the version in general, Cyclone Slash does allow the players to drop faster, but unlike the inventory drop, it does not give you lag. So we will see some spinny helicopters that had misunderstand that instead of going up, they actually go down. We love that type of helicopters. They just spirals into the ground.
Certainly some interesting physics from Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dino will start his Hornet 2 fight, also electing not to safety bench.
And as Water has just gotten Cyclone Slash, yep, we see a sort of form of early control and also a faster drop, as he has just executed dropping down from that well using the Cyclone Slash. Ooh, this infected room is not being nice to Water today. Lots of enemies bumping on his way down.
Yeah, and Hornet is being really mean to Dyna with the parries here. I believe that's the 4th time Dyna's been hit by a Hornet parry.
No, Dino! Oh gosh. That might be another big time lost, about like 2 minutes on Dino's part.
Yeah, and that death there will just about solidify Water's win here. Water will need to die at least twice, maybe even 3 times, depending on where those happen, for Dyna to have a chance of coming back here now.
Yeah, and Water is making his way to Monomon with 1 HP. I'm not gonna repeat myself here, but okay, I hope commentator curse anti. I hope Water dies here. Okay, we're good. Because I remember last time I did curse someone to die in that exact room at that exact position, so now I'm kind of scared.
Commentators' curses are the worst. Definitely make for good content, though.
And looks like Water did not go for the Monomon bench either, and
Oh. Interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting choice from Water not to just grab the Monument bench, especially if he was going to heal anyways. Because it really doesn't take that much time to jump up there and sit on the bench.
Yeah, that might have been just like a muscle memory of dropping down and then just being like, well, I don't want to retrace my step, which is understandable.
Yeah, and now he's getting beat up by the Tic-Tics in the Gruz room.
All right, chat. Chat pointing out that's my com curse happening again. I guess my specialty area for the com curse is Monomon, so next time I will pay attention and try not to talk during this section.
Yeah, and chat pointing out that Water did have to stay with his previous statement that benches are in fact an illusion. So he
true.
could not bench at Monument there. That explains his actions.
Yeah, someone should... New routing, bench illusion %, where speedrunners do not take benches and try to complete the game as fast as possible. Looks like Dine had just grabbed the King's Brand by defeating Hornet 2 on 1 HP. Wait, no, not 1 HP. I was looking on the wrong screen. And Water has forgotten his promise about benches being an illusion, but that's okay, because this is a race setting and we definitely respect going for safety strats.
Of course. Water will show off a quick Cyclone drop as he begins the Umu fight.
Yep.
I was gonna say, it looks like he's going for a 1 cycle here, which is a tight trick that relies on very tight Umu positioning as well as a semi-precise damage cycle and double hits with Shade Soul, knocking Umu out of bounds.
Yep. Thankfully, Horo did decide to help there with a lovely no extra attack cycle, and that's good. And yeah, looks like Water got the 1 cycle. Very nice. And looks like the runners might be a little bit even more further apart, which is sort of unfortunate, but as Water is getting Monomon the teacher, Dine will be heading towards while stacking 2 Dirtmouth and then getting Cyclone Slash from Motto soon.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dyna, Water's death in Teacher's Archives will not be enough to allow him to come back, especially with the clean 1 cycle from Water.
Yeah. 1 cycle could be really important in race settings because depending on how much more damage the runners need to do on the 2nd cycle, it could be a time loss between like 15 seconds to about 20 seconds.
Oh man, 15-minute time loss.
I know. That must be like a 15-minute time loss is what you would call my Pantheon 5 Blue Moon fight, which is like a 30 cycle of just me waiting for like that one big jelly to perfectly position themselves right next to Blue Moon before hitting it.
Yeah, so Water here will take a bench that is mandatory to quit out to later, so that he can go pick up Great Slash way off in the corner of Green Path.
Yep. And yeah, I guess the bench, just going back to the bench stuff, in this game there are a few things, a few items and a few skills that will hard save you onto there when you pick them up, which is sort of unfortunate, but that's why sometimes we see the runners having to retrace their steps instead of just safe quitting back to a bench. And yeah, as Spicy has mentioned before, Water will be visiting Nail Master Shio next and getting our 3rd and final nail art Great Slash. Personally, Shio is my favorite character, so I am so glad to see him in all of the all-skill runs, and I am very sad in other speedrun categories we do not get to visit him.
Yeah, Shio is definitely the best Nail Master. Unfortunately, he is very out of the way.
Yeah, it really just makes you wonder like how Shio got there, because this area, I mean, I don't know about the nail masters, man, but in the Pantheon, they don't seem to be like the most agile people. So I sincerely have no idea how Shio navigated through all of this terrain to get there.
I mean, they got some pretty good jumps. They probably just don't need the got some wall jump skills. Also, they're kind of big, so maybe those thorns are more just like a suggestion to them.
Just steps through the thorns, like just mow the lawn. You know, the thorns are because they're maintained, but then like every time they actually have to leave this area, they just actually clear out the thorns and be like, go away.
So Dino will be making his way over to Umu right here. It'll be interesting to see if Dyna goes for a 1 cycle or a 2 cycle here. As both runners are kind of in the range where it's hard to guess which strategies they'll use for Umu. It looks like he will go for a 1 cycle though, or at least set Umu up in the position for it, but is struggling to get him up there.
The position he kind of did get, but it looks like, yeah, didn't get the spells out quite quick enough, so this might be a 2 cycle. But that's okay, because the best way to get a 2 cycle is getting a 1 cycle miss and then getting a few extra attacks to get the 2 cycle. No!
Yeah, fortunately, Dino really didn't shoot many spells off in the first 1 cycle attempt. And because of that, wasn't quite able to get enough damage to kill Umu in 2 cycles here. We'll probably see Umu die on the first spell of this 3rd cycle, but unfortunately, Umu is even giving Dyna an extra attack here.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Water was also going through a squid arena, which really isn't a match for runners at this point because all the squids die in one shade soul. And after clearing that arena pretty swiftly, he did get Howling Wraith.
Ooh, he got sniped by a squid from across the room, trying to break that wall. It'll be interesting to see if he heals before QG here, because notably, you will need to take a damage tank, as well as go through a couple of dark rooms in Dark Deepness before your next automatic heal.
Yeah.
And he will heal up to 5, which is definitely a smart play, especially in a race setting, as a death in the end of Dark Deepness would probably be the only thing that could even feasibly bring Dyna back into this race.
Yeah, definitely. And as we see Water going into the Mantis Petra arena, looks like he missed a Shade Soul, but that's okay because he made it up. And now he's using the lovely hazard respawn feature to skip a bunch of platforming sections, spawn right next to the lever, and clear that route.
Yeah, Water has been doing a good job throughout this run of showing off those nice Cyclone drops, breaking physics just a little bit for that extra acceleration.
Yep, and looks like Water cleared the last platforming room with Petros with these as well, and now is currently dropping into Dark Deepness. Mantis Petra is also, I see some people mention in the chat, a very evil enemy. Like, their boomerangs is just like, the physics is just tricky enough to the point where sometimes it hits you twice on the way back as well.
Yeah, they're definitely a rough one as well.
Yeah, and now as we see Water going through the first dark rooms, he's been doing a pretty good job, but dark rooms can be tricky in the way that if you respawn, or like if you fall into a spike and have to respawn, the hazard respawn will spawn you all the way back at the start, which is kind of unfortunate when some of the breakable floors are already broken.
Yeah, definitely. But Water will not have to deal with that, as he will make it through all the dark rooms very cleanly. And we'll go to pick up Hera through the secret entrance to the Beast Den.
And meanwhile, Dyna is almost there to say hello to Shio. And very good. As Dyna is picking up Great Slash from Shio, Water here will be, unfortunately, murdering Hornet's mom. We're sorry, Hornet. Please don't sue us. But yeah, it's for the greater good.
Yeah, and with that, Water will have acquired all 3 Dreamers, but because this is all skills and not any percent, Water will still need to get a couple of skills from the Abyss before he can go kill Hollow Knight to finish off the run. And Water in chat is saying that this was, in fact, a Glod for him. So that's always nice to see in a race. Especially with runners with as nice a sum of best as Water has. Getting a Glod in a race setting is always exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, as Spicy has mentioned before, Water will be heading into the Abyss, which means that this category will be longer, unfortunately. But fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on your point of view for knock-knock jokes, we do have another knock-knock joke prepared for the Abyss door. So as Water is making his way to the door, let us prepare ourselves for another one of Sloran's masterpiece. Yeah, nice helicopter drop from Water, and knock knock.
Who's there?
Gome?
Gome who?
Go make me a sandwich. I'm hungry. But yeah, as Water has just entered through the Abyss door, we are now in the territory of darkness. And there's a pretty hype section coming up known as the Lighthouse Climb, which can be scary if too many of those siblings do decide to gang up on you. But hopefully that doesn't happen today.
Yeah, Water's getting a little unlucky with sibling spawns here. It seems... I can't speak as that seems to have made it through. Oh no. I'm so sorry, Water.
I can't believe you have cursed Water, I guess once, because the other time it was my bad. Jeez, Spicy, how dare you? Shaking my head right now.
My commentator's curse is too strong. I have a bad track record with it.
But yeah, I believe Water did mention that his Abyss climb isn't quite up to where he wanted to be, and siblings can be tricky because they do double damage. And in a speedrun setting, that means at max 3 hits before the runners die.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dinah is getting beat up by the Mantis Petras before Dark Deep Nest. I assume we'll see him at least gather some soul, if not heal from these husks right here before going in, and he will not.
Yeah, and I see a question in the chat asking what Water's PB is. I'm not sure about like every split wise, but his PB is a 55-42, so I don't think he'll be able to get a PB today, but he can still get a really good time, which we really hope for. Oh. Water, no. Anti-curse coming through. I hope Water dies again.
Yeah, Water is able to find his shade amidst the siblings, which can be a bit of a struggle since they are all just black floating blobs.
Yep. I mean, sometimes you just have that personal connection to your shade, you know? Especially in this run where we already had to mandatorily met our shade one time at the blue lay skip. So you can just feel the shade coming through. But yeah, as Water has just taken a void bath now and soaked the Mothwing cloak that we got from Hornet originally in void and giving us the shade cloak, which is really nice.
Yeah, Water will now be making his way towards the last skill in the run, the Abyssal Streak, which happens to be the most powerful spell as well. Unfortunately, Howling Wraiths, the precursor to Abyssal Streak, is so far out of the way that we can't ever really route it into any category early. So despite being the best spell, it's also not used very much, except for this THK fight.
Yep. And Dye has just gotten the last streamer and will be heading towards Abyss soon as well. And I guess as Water is getting the Abyssal Streak, this is a good time to mention that hearing and sound can be damaging at times. So if any of the viewers are watching on their earphones, this comm team would love to inform you to be aware of how much volume you're putting on, because sometimes damaging your ears and damaging your hearing is bad.
So Water will give a go at the Abyss climb here and take an unfortunate hit in the spikes.
Yep. The Abyss climb can also be really bad to some of the players sometimes because runners don't really like to land their feet on the ground, which means that they don't get a lot of the spawn points and checkpoints on the Abyss, and sometimes taking a dunk would mean that they unfortunately get respawned way at the bottom. Looks like Water routed so that he avoided that one jump that was giving him trouble. Definitely respect that.
Ooh. Water is getting the hardest pogo of the triple spike pogo here in the climb, but is just being a little too far from the second one twice before getting it on his straight attempt.
The charm. And looks like Dye is at the lighthouse climb as well.
Yeah,
really
Dye
clean
going.
Execution.
Yeah, really clean, rather safe. It didn't skip too much, but it's much better than taking a death there for sure.
Yep. Now that Water has finally gotten every single skill on the books, he will be making his way back to Dirtmouth and THK for as fast as possible. Looks like he's not gonna take the bench at Dirtmouth again. I guess going with the theme of benches are indeed illusions.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he changes his mind and decides to bench before THK here, because going into this fight with 3 masks is very dangerous. THK with Abyss Streak is kind of random in the sense that if the Hollow Knight decides to do an attack like dash or parry at the wrong time, there's really nothing you can do to avoid taking damage if you shriek him then.
Yeah, Shrieking THK. Oh, looks like he is taking a bench here. Nice. Shrieking THK does mean that the runners had to stand really close to him, like right underneath his wings, and also just like shows how much shorter our little knight is compared to, like, I guess his older sibling.
And as stated earlier, the strategy for the Hollow Knight boss fight will pretty much just be to stay as close to them as possible and let shrieks loose. It's going to be much faster than any percent or Shade Soul Hollow Knight fights, but also has a lot of room for RNG to mess you up still, because as you will probably see at some point, a dive from the Hollow Knight will duck under the Abyssal Streak.
Yeah.
Water has a really quick fight here. Unfortunately, doesn't manage to get the scream skip, but other than that, very solid Hollow Knight fight, and will quickly absorb the infection and complete his run for a sub-hour time and a 59.50 probably, just about.
Yeah, and sub-hour runs are really good in these races, especially since I believe Water mentioned that this was their first category that they learned.
Yeah, I believe Water learned the category specifically for the tournament. And it was their first Hollow Knight category, so shoutouts to them for doing so well.
And as we can see on Dye's screen, he did also successfully exit the Abyss and is now on his way to THK as well. I can mark Water as done for now.
Yeah. So Dyna is just about to begin the Hollow Knight fight as well here. Finishing not too long behind Water here. Despite the deaths, the race remained reasonably close. Dyna doing his best to keep it within that 3 to 4 minute gap that the Green Path death unfortunately put him at.
Yep. I believe despite the 2 deaths, Dyna might have made up some time in some ways. So we'll see about we'll see whether THK plays nice to him. Because THK, like Hornet, is another one of the lovely void beings, or just I guess creations of Pale King that can parry your spells and block everything. Oh wow, and Water in chat confirming that he only started learning the run in January. So it's only been about 3 months of experience. That is really impressive.
Yeah, and we just saw Dyna get an unfortunate glitch on 1-2-2-1 where spamming 2 Abyssal Streaks immediately after each other will actually cancel the first one and not put out the second one. It's just something that runners have to be wary of. That adds just a little bit more jank to this Abyssal Streak Hollow Knight fight. Dyna's actually opting to mostly use D-Dark here, which, while not doing quite as much damage as Abyssal Streak, is significantly safer.
Definitely. Oh wow, Dyna is on 1 HP once again, and he opted not to heal, which is reasonable because THK is on his last leg. Nice.
And Dyna will finish out the fight and absorb the infection for a 104.25.
Yep. Great job on both runners, and as both of them I think will be joining us for an interview soon. Chat, if you have any questions, feel free to post them, and we will definitely ask them. Looks like both runners are already in the thing. Spicy, do you want me to just drag them in to the stream?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hi guys, GG's.
Hello, GG's.
Oh, GG.
So I guess before we start with any specific questions, what did you guys think of your races? Anything specific you'd want to talk about or say about them?
So, how about those benches, am I right?
Yes, the benches. It worked out for you for a while. until Monument.
Yeah, I went a bit overboard.
Did you forget to bench somewhere?
I tried
Or-
skipping the archives bench,
Oh.
and let's say it didn't go too well.
Yeah, I'd also gotta apologize for that because Chad did point out that, like, about 10 seconds before that happening on our screen, I may or may not have done a commentary curse. So, sorry about that.
Yeah, well, my runs, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just, I was playing dumb again, playing with fire all the time with 1 HP and everything, and not playing smart. It's just okay. I mean, other than the fights or the places that I did, I think everything else went well.
Yeah, overall, I'd say, Water, you've obviously done a pretty good job, and congrats on the win. And also, Dinah, I'm sorry about the death, but overall, I'd say you were pretty consistent and still were able to keep up the pace, which I definitely respect. Guess a question for both runners. Which part of the run did you think like you were most happy with, and vice versa?
I really like my Watcher Knights and my Soul Tyrant. I think that's the name. Yeah, both of those fights were way better than I've ever done on either one. So that was pretty good. Also, I didn't come out of tunnels with 1 HP this time, which is good.
I finally golded Crystal Peaks again, or Crystal Heart, which hasn't happened in, I think, over a month. So, pretty happy about that one. I landed every trick I wanted to, except for one of the faster cycles. And Isma skips went well. But the thing is, my Isma skips always go pretty well, so my gold in that is fairly low by now.
Well, that's impressive. Spicy, you have...
Abyss Climb sucks.
Yeah. It was hard to see you struggle there because you were getting really close on some of those jumps, especially the triple spike pogo. You got the first pogo, which was the hardest 3 times in a row, and then just barely missed the second one. I guess I don't really have much else to ask. You guys did a pretty good job of answering most of my questions with your just general overview of your run.
Yeah, and I guess overview, Water, you did go for some of the underplats, which Chad and I personally very appreciate. Thank you for doing that.
You gotta see those woos in chat.
Yeah, definitely.
So you gotta do underplat for the fans.
And were both of you watching the stream? And like, at what capacity did you have the audio turned on, or was it just like looking at chat, or and how did that kind of factor into your playstyle?
For me, I was not watching the stream. I did watch it for both of the last ones, but it was more distracting than helpful, so I just didn't go with it this time.
I actually did watch the stream. I was even in chat from time to time. I find that when I focus too much on the game, I kind of start choking harder, and my mindset goes down the drain, which I really don't want.
Yeah, understandable reasons from both of you. I know I tend to err more towards Dinah's side, where watching the stream really distracts me. But I could see how it could also distract you from the pressure as well.
Yep, and if nothing else, I guess we could wrap up here. If chat, I see one question in chat from Inferno, but it's just asking about Milo percent category. I believe there is a Milo percent category, but I hope nobody here is involved in it. Water, Dyna, Spicy.
There's a Milo category, you say?
Oh gosh.
Aw, damn it. Axe has already run it. Well, never mind. Guess
Yeah, it's a dead category now.
Fair enough.
that's a shame.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to the runners for putting on a good show for us, and thank you to Virgil for being a great co-com.
Yep.
I hope all the cuties in chat have a good night, morning, or afternoon, wherever in the world it is for you. And everybody enjoyed the race. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye everyone.